Yep.
You should send this slide in the DM to Deep Throat. Put it in the chat box. The Twitter DM to Deep Throat. He'll like that.
All that just sounds really wrong.
He would very much appreciate that. One of our favorite viewers and listeners.
Oh,
Are they the same slide?
Yeah, I think I gave you 2 copies.
Oh, thank you very much.
I print out 3 all the time because I never know when Sir Judah Whitcower might need a copy.
Once you DM him that slide there, J-Dubs, put it on screen here during the coming soon as Keith and I chitter chatter. How you feeling over there, Keith?
To be honest with you, just trying to get rid of this nasally head cold.
It's going around.
Oh man, it's been ridiculous. It's been for a couple of weeks, and
it's all over the squash club.
And if Yona may or may not have recorded me snoring.
Oh, okay.
So that ends up on some social media platform.
I don't think Yona would do that.
Yona would never do that. No.
Yona would not do that to you.
Yeah, so we're going to kick the show off a little bit with the Watt because I was at the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference for the last couple of days, and some of this was being discussed about AMI and area median income in our state in particular, but I want to focus on ours and take a look at how it's really ramped up since 2016 until now, and kind of why. I'll give you my 2 cents worth, and hopefully Jerry will push back, which I'm sure that he will, and the folks listening and watching. What you're going to see is that between 20 and 21, which was pretty flat, we had a 30% increase between 2020 and 21 and 23. So that's a huge jump. Salaries haven't gone up that much.
That's a massive jump. We'll talk data, we'll talk inventory, we'll talk sales, we'll talk all things real estate on the Friday edition of Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's going to be absolutely a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I want to tell a few stories about some conversations we've had in the last week or two with buyer clients and how I'm a little bit excited about the market. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Fantastic. Judah, you can cue up the intro when you're ready to rock and roll. I'll continue to send you some messages, and we will rock when you're ready, Judah.
What kind of messages?
Keith got a haircut today.
No,
2 days ago?
I got it a couple of days ago, and
you like it. You like it.
I like it. I like what he did with the mustache, but
you like it.
Huh?
You like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I've got a pretty nasty cowlick on the top of my head, so not that the show's about hair, but we should talk a little bit about hair.
I say that a lot of the show's about hair.
About hair.
Hair is very important to the host.
It's very important to me, particularly keeping it.
You're doing a good job in that category.
Quiet on the set.
Oh, here we go. We've been told to be quiet.
He was told to be a little more authoritative.
Really?
With his directions after yesterday.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us live in downtown Charlottesville on a show that chitter-chatters real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness through strategic and entertaining decision-making. Judah Whitcower is our director. Huh? I knew you were going to say something. Come again? What did he say?
Strategery.
Judah, the director of this fine and fair talk show, a brother from another mother. Keith, a brother from another mother. The star of our talk show, the show archived online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Judah's got his microphone in front of him. That shocked me this morning.
So, Judah, what's this about being more authoritative? What's that all about?
Oh, I don't know if he's got a 3-shot setup. He's doing quite a bit right now. Does he have the 3-shot ready to go?
Yeah. One of these days, what we really should do is put a camera on him.
Oh, he has a camera on him.
Does he?
Yeah, it's right here.
Right there.
There's 7 cameras in the studio.
I've been doing this so long, I don't even see the damn thing. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
7.
7. Really? Look at that. 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each of those.
That's this many, Jerry.
A buck 35 right there. So Judah got the authoritarian, maybe not the best description. I encourage an assertive voice.
We have a new podcast,
a new show.
And the new host did not apparently know that me counting down from 3 and pointing at him meant that you're live. And
Granted, it was the host's third show. So sometimes a little communication as opposed to just using hand signals can be beneficial.
So one of my favorite movies in the world, Cool Hand Luke.
That's a great movie.
What we have here is a failure to communicate. So it's all about communication,
All about
which is funny.
You know what you can't do too much of?
Communicate.
Communicate. Yeah,
There's no such a thing as over-communicate.
You cannot over-communicate.
Well, I don't know about that. Most people tell me to shut up.
Maybe my wife would say that there's such thing as over-communication.
I had a...
Maybe your wife.
No, there's a lot of people in my world. I had a meeting with somebody the other day and at an executive level, and I threw out an idea how to solve a problem and so forth and so on, and the person turned to me and he goes, "That was the first time you've heard that too, right?" I said, "You know what? That was the first time I heard that. You know, open mouth, insert
foot.
Insert foot.
Insert foot.
Those who have watched the show long enough to know that, I think with my mouth moving, so I kind of think through things as I'm talking about
I
them.
think that's fairly common.
Not a lot of people. I know a lot of people that actually thoroughly think about something before they say that. I don't think I've ever been guilty of that. So it doesn't mean that I don't say anything worthwhile. It's just whatever's in my heart and head comes out, and sometimes it's entertaining, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's like, Smith, I can't believe you just said that. But what I want, there's a couple things, and I'm glad that we had this little authoritative conversation, because later on, after we take a look at this AMI data, which just really rocked my world. I never really did the percentage differences in growth in a short period of time. I want to talk about some conversations I've been having with buyers, because I'm trying to get speak with buyers to come on the show to talk about their experiences, and it's a little difficult. Most people are not as comfortable in front of microphones and cameras as maybe you and I are, and so having 7 cameras and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it's 5 microphones.
Yeah.
A director, a host, a co-host can be a little intimidating.
That's fair. Totally fair.
On that end of it. But look, while we're talking about this data, any real estate agent that is watching or listening, do me a favor, if you got a minute, type in a couple of success stories you've had with buyers recently. In other words, how you helped them navigate the process either prior to the contract or after the contract. How we used our skills and our professionalism to help navigate clients through, this buying of homes and selling of homes is a very complicated process. And so anybody, I'm going to tell a couple of recent stories, but anybody on there, if they can
I'll highlight my friend Gary Palmer. We'll highlight Ray Cadell. We will highlight Mr. DL. Scott Q, one of your happy clients over there. Jamie Turner, the real estate investor. Scott Thorpe, the commercial broker. John Neal, the commercial broker. One of the Shenandoah Valley's finest backstops is watching, Mr. Michael Plecker.
There you go.
Trip Stewart, the prolific real estate investor watching the program. Harold Hertz, another prolific local real estate investor. Liza Borchis, MJ Arquette, the queen of marketing. And Cully Baggett, the developer, just to name a few. Viewers and listeners, the show is dynamic, and we encourage you to shape the discussion by asking questions or sharing your experiences like Keith is about to do.
Well, let's talk about the AMI first. Well, this gives folks an opportunity to go ahead and type in and share some experiences. And
should J-Dubs put the slide up?
Let's put the slide up.
Okay, you're calling the play-by-play here on the slide there.
So what I did, and this is a direct result of conversations I had at the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference, was took a look at the Charlottesville Metro Statistical Area, so it's called the MSA, for the area median income, so AMI, so we'll use these acronyms regularly, but MSA means the Metro Statistical Area, which is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Fluvanna, Nelson, Greene, It does not include Louisa.
Okay.
Louisa's in a different MSA. And area median income is AMI. So these numbers we're going to throw out here in a minute, and the slide looking at it, is whatever that number is, then that's the middle, right? 50% above that number make more than that amount. 50% of that number make less than that amount. And it was interesting. So if you look at that slide, 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20, and to include 21, it was, there was a couple ups and downs, but it was a kind of a gentle slope if you take a look at the trend line. But what I found interesting, from 20 to 21 to 23, there was a 30% jump. So 2020, now I'm telling you how old I am. 2020 to 2021, it was 93,900 and 93,700. So let's call that flat.
Okay.
So it was $93,000 for 2 years, from 2020 to 2021. Then it jumped in 2022 to 11,200. So that in itself was a 20% jump. And then from 22 to 23, it jumped from 111,000, I'm rounding numbers a little bit, to 123, which was roughly another 10%. So between 20 to 21, it jumped 30%. And if you take a look at the slide right after that, I asked the question, why? And I started asking myself, why was there such a big jump between 2020 and 2020, which was pretty flat, and today of a 30% jump? And I'm going to let you jump in because I want to have you share your reasons first, and then, or your thoughts first, and then.
I think this is a direct reflection of a handful of factors. Factor number one, we have had an influx of out-of-market population, out-of-market people. I see it firsthand all over my neighborhood. Across from me, next to me, catty-corner to me, all over the street. Folks coming with bags of money from Northern Virginia, D.C., the Northeast, Manhattan, Connecticut, Denver. We mentioned the tenants that we have in and around Charlottesville and Albemarle.
Speaking of Denver, I just had a cup of coffee at Lone Light, I think they're calling it. I was talking to a guy at the coffee bar. Has a home in Denver, has a home here. He's a techie guy. He's going back and forth and sitting here working in a coffee shop. Go ahead.
Nearly a third of our tenants have been in this area less than 2 years, looking for flex space. Bloomberg called the Charlottesville area ranked the Charlottesville area 15th in the nation from a hybrid remote work population base, citing nearly 1 in 4 workers. So 25% of the population is working remotely or hybridly. That's an indication that folks are working for companies not tied to this market in some capacity. And frankly, it's getting so expensive here from a everyday life standpoint that those that are on the financial margin are choosing to leave. And those that are on the financial margin, as they leave and as wealthy folks come in, because of hybrid, because of quality of life, because of all the reasons we work here, the area median income is going to uptick. Viewers and listeners, what are your thoughts? And I see your comments coming in.
So just to put it in a little perspective, from 2016 to 2021,
and you can go back to us and just flip that slide off on and in, Shuna.
The area median income grew 18% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 years. But from year 6 to year 8, it jumped, really from 21 to 23, so that's 3 years, jumped 30%. So it's roughly 10% year over year if you divided it equally. Even I could figure that one out on that end of it. But so I've been asking myself, okay, so where did this income go? Because in 2016 it was 77, 2017 76, 1889, 1989. So basically, 216, 217 was flat, 218, 219 was flat. There was a jump of 89 to 93 between 19 and 20. But once we got past 21, it just rocked and rolled. So the question is where did
what was happening during that time?
Yeah, so this was the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
This was the pandemic, but we've been talking about this forever. Where people are moving outside of this rubber band that we've been talking about, right? And where are they moving to? And they're moving away from the area. So what I think you're seeing is an uptick of, as you said, high dollar jobs coming in, people retire.
High dollar people coming in, not necessarily even high dollar jobs.
That's the second half I was going to get to. You got high dollar, because I got 2 meetings today.
Yeah.
That buyer meetings with this buyer profile. I've got high dollar jobs coming in. I've got retirees out of the Northeast or wherever they're going that want to come back to UVA, bringing their dollars with them, bringing their high retirement income, because that's what it is. And then the local, and that's something, it's squeezing the marginalized folks out. And this problem is just, and this is what they were talking about at the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference about, how do we fix this? And I think if we broke out a couple of crystal balls, we might be able to figure it out one of these thousands of years. But I really wanted to know where they went, right? And I started looking at the other side of the mountain, and I started looking at the MSA that has Louisa in it, and you're starting to see a balance of income there. You're not seeing these big jumps. I don't have the data with me at the moment, but you're not seeing these big jumps, Jerry, of that. But this is only solidifying that the people that are in this area, right, in this MSA, in this metropolitan statistical area, are moving into other ones that are working here, and they're traveling this hour and a half, or whatever the time lane is. I mean, take a look at the data at Lake Monticello, right? $350, I think it is the median sales price. I have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head. Way back when, that was where the quote-unquote blue collars, or that's where your quote-unquote starter house is. I just was shocked. I didn't know the percentage swing until I did it this morning.
Multiple people are asking for me to relay our information of what's going on at Charlottesville High School and the fact that it's closed today due to no teachers and substitutes available for work. I will share that news for you on the I Love Seville show, guys, at 12:30. I appreciate you asking the question. I will get to the comments about AMI here. I'll highlight this with Keith Smith. Northrop Grumman has got that new $200 million facility in Waynesboro.
Got a client that's moving. I got a client that is running the construction side of that whole
331 jobs at this headquarters by 2028.
Yeah, so my point
What do you think the average income is of those jobs?
Oh, I don't know. I actually asked my client that to see if they would know.
I got that information.
I would love to hear it.
$94,000 the average income.
Let's call
for
it
those
6 figures.
331 jobs, fully staffed by 2028. 6 figures, that's Waynesboro. That's a headquarters in Waynesboro. 331 people, Northrop Grumman investing $200 million in Waynesboro, and the average income, $94,000.
So while you're
Every year you have raises, they get perks, they get bennies, and they get salary increases.
Yeah, so while you were looking at that, I was just going to take a look at what the AMI was for the other side of the hill. Back on the just to wrap in the school teacher thing, it's exactly this conversation we're talking about right now. Area median income, or this is the household income, is $123,000. If you put 2 teachers' salaries together, you don't even get close to that. Starting teacher, I can tell you in Fluvanna County, is around 50 grand. So you put 2 of them together, that's 100 grand. You're not there.
I think the Charlottesville situation is a reflection of violence in the schools and deteriorating professional conditions from what the teachers have relayed to us.
And I'm really the wrong guy to talk about this because I grew up in the New York City school system where, just getting in alive and out alive was a win. So I think when I entered high school in the early 70s, the city was broke in the amount of teachers, the student ratio of teachers to kids went from 30 to 60. I literally didn't go to high school my last 2 years of high school. They didn't even care. So I come from it from a very different perspective, and that's for your noon show. I just wanted to throw out my personal 12:30.
James Watson, your brother-in-law, this Friday this is obviously the talk of town, what's going on at Charlottesville High School.
Sure.
He says this Friday, today, when the high school does not have enough substitutes or even full-time teachers, you have to wonder how much the cost of living is impacting the ability to maintain or attract teachers.
Well, that's the comment I was making.
Right. He also says, additionally, parents who may be struggling have less time to put into their schools and their students as parents. It's a great comment from James. We've been sent by 7 teachers that work at Charlottesville High School a video of a massive brawl that took place yesterday within the school. I am not going to air the video. I will show the video to Judah here for context so he's prepared for the program. Multiple teachers trying to break up the brawl yesterday, and they were called into...
Do they have a resource officer there?
Charlottesville High School does not have a school resource officer.
There you go.
Albemarle County Public Schools have brought the school resource officers back. The teachers were called into a meeting after school yesterday after Charlottesville Police was called to the school. You had nearly a dozen Charlottesville police officers on site at Charlottesville High School yesterday. And administrators tried to work with the teachers and explain, look, you're essentially going to have to do more with less. And the teachers have said, enough, we're frustrated. And they have it's a sick out. There's a sick out today.
Look,
a staged and strategic sick out.
And by the way, back when I was growing up, the teachers were unionized. You're not even unionized here.
Charlottesville's a union.
Yeah, Charlottesville is union.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I know about it. But look, I mean, it's tied into housing and tied into what we're talking about. This is kind of the direct result of not having enough housing to meet those needs, and it adds all kinds of level of frustration. But $123,000. I don't know any city school teachers. I don't know what the average salary is of it. But if you put 2 school teachers together, maybe you might make the medium area income. I can tell you, if you pull up anything on CNN or Fox or any of your news sources on it, this is the first time just to afford an entry-level house in the country, you got to make over 6 figures.
$111,000, $435K, a $435,000 house now, ladies and gentlemen. This is an American statistic for you, a countrywide stat, if you may. If you take a $435,000 house, you got to clock about $111,000 as a household for a $435K purchase. We'll welcome Mayor Snook to the program.
Hey, Mayor, how you doing today?
Nikki Chambliss, Tom Powell, welcome to the program. Julian Shaver, thank you kindly for joining us. Seth Liskey, looking forward to seeing you on Monday at 8 a.m., one of downtown Stanton's prolific investors. Joshua Tracy, welcome to the program. Kevin Yancey, Johnny Ornalis, Kyle Miller, Heather Walker, one of Johnson Village's finest, Albert Graves, Bob Yarborough, Rob Neal, Chad Wood. Hello, and thank you kindly for watching the program.
So the area median income for Stanton, Waynesboro, MSA, which includes Augusta, is $78,000. So the last time we were close to that was 2017. So their 2003 area median income for Stanton, Waynesboro, MSA, which includes Augusta County, is $78,000. So the difference between 78 and 123,
it's pretty significant.
I can't do that math in my head that fast.
That's pretty significant.
So that's what's happening. And then that is
the area median income in Waynesboro and the Stanton area is going to jet rocket up.
Correct.
It will jet rocket up.
And so then when does this rubber band stop? Right? And does it just...
Buckingham County?
Well...
Rockingham County?
We could take a look at what Buckingham...
Would love to know the AMI for Buckingham County.
I can do that.
Bill McChesney will ask your question live on air. I'm seeing dozens of comments of Charlottesville High School being in shambles right now.
Yeah.
Bill
I don't have, I don't have enough intelligence or information to speak intelligently about it. I come from a very different perspective on school systems.
We'll offer that perspective on the I Love CVille show at 12:30. Viewers and listeners, we have some insight from inside the hallways.
It does impact housing, right? It impacts housing, and I think a lot of it, what you're going to see is when you're having folks at 123 grand and up and in that area, they're probably going to send kids to private school instead of public school.
Definitely what's happening.
So now you're seeing the public
or homeschooling.
Or homeschooling. So you're seeing the
we have a couple of homeschooling champions on the program. Ginny Hu is one. Carly Wagner is one. Thank you kindly for watching. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the only person that can homeschool my kids would be my wife, because you would not want to be homeschooled from Keith Smith.
Lonnie Murray, welcome to the program. One of my favorite viewers and listeners, Betsy Nugent, on the show. She's got a flawless forehand on the tennis courts. Dan Pettit, your backhand, flawless as well. Bill McChesney asks this question here about Fluvanna County.
Sure.
How about the increase in Fluvanna water and sewage fees? How do you think that will affect the sales in Fluvanna County? I also have this question coming to you as well. The Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors has got a website out where it's lobbying in support of upzoning. People are asking your thoughts on that. First, the fees in Fluvanna. We'd love the Buckingham AMI. The show is moving and shaking, and Keith
I know
better
that,
start
brother.
chugging that coffee.
I know that. So I want to make a correction, because I pulled the wrong AMI limits for Stanton, Waynesboro, and Augusta. So I want to correct that. I was trying to quickly get into the website and click the wrong button. It's 92,000. It's not 70. It's 92,000.
Oh, so that's closer to the $123,
it's closer to the $123, and that makes sense. So I apologize.
and that's still going to go up.
That's still gonna go up. But you did want to ask about Buckingham. I was actually in the rent calculations, not the household calculation. So Buckingham is 75.
That's a pretty large delta.
75, yeah.
75 AMI for Buckingham County versus the 123.3. It's 123.3, right?
123, 300,000.
Yep, for the Charlottesville MSA.
Which includes Fluvanna County. So what was the question on Fluvanna? Was the water?
Fluvanna County, Nora Hunt. Nora Hunt's got a good question for you. You have
So
to look at
back on the Lake Monticello water rates.
Yeah.
What they really, if you picked up a copy, Bill, if you pick up a copy of the Fluvanna Review, all 3 pages of it. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
which newspaper is not 3 pages?
The Lake Monticello Owners Association are putting out there for vote an increase of dues about $300. So that's
On the year?
Yeah, so that's a substantial increase from roughly $90 to $100 by adding.
That's a $25 increase a month?
Yeah, it's rather substantial up to that on it. So the water and sewer thing, I could probably talk about a couple hours on that. The question is you first need to kind of understand the history of it, which I do intimately. So Lake Monticello Owners Association owned the water and sewer company up until 97. And it was under a consent order, several consent orders from DEQ. I actually have Polaroids. I don't know if those who remember what Polaroids are, but I have Polaroids.
I think those are pictures.
Of pump stations overflowing all kinds of nasty stuff into the lake. And the only reason I know this is I was doing a development at the time, and EPA and DEQ wouldn't let me connect into their system until I paid $450,000 to increase Lake Monticello Owners Association system. What happened was they were about 30 days from getting shut down. They sold it to a company by the name of AquaSource, which was a Enron company.
Oh.
And we know what happened to that.
Didn't go well.
They filed bankruptcy. Then Aqua Virginia came in and bought it. And part of the contract when they bought it back in 97 and 98, I think it was 97 or 98, on it, was Lake Monticello negotiated with the Enron company that rates couldn't be increased. I believe it was 20 years or some long period of time. So what happened was Aqua Virginia, made $14, $15, $17 million worth of improvements because they had to, and now the bills come and due. And but if Lake Monticello would have done the right thing and took care of the system back then, back on the $300, do you want to bet a bottle of bourbon?
I think you're going to owe me a bottle here.
Oh, I don't think so.
So you think you're going to win the bet?
I think I am going to win
Because
the bet.
you know what? The next council meeting, it's open for public comment.
Then I think they got 2 more on the books.
Yeah.
this.
Well, that's what we mentioned in the last show. Yeah.
No, 2 more on the books in December. It's going to be squeaky clean.
Oh,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
squeaky
So
clean.
we have a bottle of bourbon bet on
Smith
upzoning.
actually might win one. We'll see. I think if we could probably tweak the bet a little bit.
No. Well, how do you want to tweak it before I say no?
Yeah.
How do you want to tweak it?
What we think the vote count's going to be
Oh, I think the only dissenting vote
would
I
be
think
one. There'd be one dissenting vote.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'd be a 4-1.
It depends. It depends on what
I
happens.
mean, maybe BP Brian Pinkston gets in the dissension, but I think Pinkston's in favor of it. You think it's going to happen within the next 40
Well, in theory, not that it
45 days?
would. And the way and the good mayor can chime in on it. I mean, in theory, they can vote for it right after the public hearing on.
I don't
the
think
5th.
that would happen.
I think politically, that's not.
That would be a
gonna happen.
nightmare.
Yeah,
That would show that they're basically marginalizing the public comment and not considering what they have to
Yeah,
say.
I mean, that's just.
That's not good optics.
It's just not good governance.
Right.
Right. Forget about
That would
the
mean we
optics.
don't care what you say. We had a vote no matter what.
Yeah, well, or you can take the approach of this has been going on for a while. It's been fully vetted. It's been thoroughly vetted at the planning commission level and all that stuff, that it could do that. But it will pass. The question is it this year or next year? And the question is does Smith win a bottle or lose a bottle?
Who do you think the mayor's going to be, by the way? We got Judah Wickower and I have a prop bet.
You got a prop bet on that?
Yeah, we have a prop bet, Judah Wickower and I.
Yeah.
Judah, 3 shots.
Can
Set
I
the
get in
stage,
that? Can I get in on that?
Set the stage of our prop bet, Judah Wickower.
Yeah.
Got a 3-shot. You got to do a little chitter chatter on the talk show this morning.
And be a little authoritative.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Go,
We're,
Judah.
Jerry and I have a prop bet on who will be the next mayor.
And who are you picking?
I picked Michael Payne.
Really?
Yeah.
And you?
Who do you think I picked?
Who do you think? Natalie.
You think I picked Natalie?
Yeah.
No, I didn't pick Natalie. I think it would not be good optics to vote someone in the first meeting of the year who has never served on council. And I think Natalie Alshrin's future is extremely bright as a councilwoman. But
who it should be.
The vote for mayor is done in the first meeting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
don't-
organizational meeting.
I
That's how
don't think
this-
they're going to pick someone
Yeah.
who's never sat on the dais as a
personally,
councilwoman.
I'd like to see one. I mean, the mayor. Let's back up for a second. The mayor has really he's doing a freaking awesome job.
He's doing a great job, but he's had back-to-back terms.
He has back-to-back terms. He took
So if you were betting, who would you bet on?
bet on who I would like to see.
Who do you think will be named mayor?
So who do I think or who do I want?
Who do you think?
I'm trying
if
not
you're
to
a
answer
betting
that.
man,
I'm being a politician.
If
here.
you're a betting man, who would you bet on being
I think
named
Juan
mayor?
Diego is
Okay,
the right
that's who
fit.
I bet.
Is
Judah,
the right-
Judah just took a big gulp right there. I just watched his jugular take a...
But I don't think that's who's going to get it.
You don't think Juan Diego Wade is going to win? I
all
think
dep-
Juan Diego, that's who I put my bottle of bourbon on.
It depends if Juan Diego wants it.
Of course Juan wants it.
I'm not so sure about that. Who would want that job? Ex-Lloyd. Who the heck would want that
The
job?
mayor sets the agenda
I
and
know
runs
that.
the meeting.
I know
Outside of that, it's
I-
a dog
well,
and pony.
The previous mayor to the current mayor.
You're talking to Kyle Walker.
Thought differently.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. We don't have a strong mayor. The mayor in the city of Charlotte, and I say the we. I'm not a Charlotte. I don't live in Charlottesville. Is no different than.
But you play a talk show host in Charlotte.
I know, and I stayed at a Holiday Inn. Actually, no, it was no. What did I stay?
You
at?
better not have stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
No, I didn't. I stayed at. No, it was the night before at.
Oh, this was at the conference, and your wife was with you.
Hilton. No, I was by myself. I was left alone to myself. That's a scary
That is a
thought.
scary thought.
Yeah, it's a chairperson. It's no different than like
Right.
I chair the land trust.
pomp
or I
and
chair-
circumstance.
Well, it's not that. You do set agendas.
You set the agenda and you run the
Well,
meeting.
that's a powerful thing, setting agendas, right? You can, because I don't think the city council has a agenda steering committee.
No, they set the mayor sets the
Yeah,
agenda.
the man sets the agenda with
Yeah.
staff's help.
Right, with
so that's
staff's
a
help.
lot of work. So there's extra meetings.
I mean, the staff is guiding them on
I-
how to set the agenda.
I wouldn't be. I would personally like to see Juan Diego in the spot. I think he would be a freaking awesome
I think he would
mayor,
be a
right?
fantastic
Particularly after all the great work that Lloyd did. And I want to recognize that Lloyd took pretty much a shit show and turned it into a full functioning and operating body. People may not like the decisions, may not like what it was, but it is, as far as organizational of
I
a
think
body,
what you just said is 100% fair.
right? on that end of it, and I know how much work it is to go ahead and do that. I think Juan Diego would be a great segue after that. I would not be surprised if Natalie gets it.
We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. This is a good comment for
I can
you.
see the highest vote counter receiver of votes be in a position, if that person wants it, to kind of lobby for it.
This is a comment that you need to hear. It's a good one. Nora Hunt, watching the program. Keith, you have to look at North Buckingham, though, because those prices are closer to Albemarle County's prices when assessing the AMI.
Yeah, so I'm not, I am, to be clear, I'm not assessing the AMI. HUD's setting the AMI. I don't, I'm just reading off of the HUD website and what the, so it also doesn't include the county of Buckingham. It has a regional area. I've kind of moved from a different thing, just like Charlottesville AMI is Charlottesville, Fluvanna, Nelson, Greene, and we don't have Louisa. Louisa's in a different AMI.
Questions coming in faster than I can keep up right now on Real Talk with Keith Smith. Viewers and listeners, keep the comments coming in. I promise I will be. James Watson votes Juan Diego Wade.
Yeah, I mean, that,
James Watson, would you put your money on Juan Diego Wade being named mayor? And you don't have to put your money on here. Anytime you're in the neighborhood here, as you know, James, we have a full bar. Come over for a
are
taste.
you calling that full?
I mean, it's pretty damn full.
There's a lot of
I'd
bottles, but I don't see a lot of full
I
alcohol.
mean,
in
your rum is the only one that's empty.
That's right. Well, we're going to fix that in the first couple of weeks of December.
All the other bottles have nice juice. Johnny Ornalis gave us a $115 bottle
I
of
know
top
that.
shelf scotch.
I know that. I see.
J.O.'s watching the program. J.O., Johnny Ornalis, I sincerely mean this. Johnny Ornalis, the owner of Guadalajara, of Mexicali, and just an all-around nice guy in Judah. We'll weave you in here on a 3-shot.
So
I'd say that might be the nicest bottle we've had on the bar.
If it's a prop bet, you and I are in the same. That I would bet. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if it's Natalie.
Okay.
It would be. I don't know. There is a precedent for that? Didn't Nikaya?
Yeah, I mean, but those
first
were
year?
very unique circumstances. Those were post A12 2017, like in the wake of A12.
I'll tell you what. Just to participate in the bet, so I can pull a different. What are we betting for, by the way? Before I open up my mouth.
Judah, characterize the bet, the parameters of the bet. Judah helps set these parameters.
You're talking about when someone wins. The winner will get a bottle of bourbon.
Well, a bottle of bourbon will be contributed to the bar in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of our normal bet.
Right. Go ahead, but there's a catch here.
I'm waiting for the catch.
There's a catch.
The cap is $50, and neither the winner nor the loser can drink from the bottle without the other being present.
That way, the loser doesn't really lose. So if the loser,
but that's what we always do.
I know, but he
The $50 cap is going to be hard to keep.
It's extremely difficult for me because I win character. But we wanted to do
So
it.
you agreed to the $50 cap. All right, so
He asked for the cap, I agreed.
I will participate in that, and my choice will be Natalie, just to be different. I happen to think I'm probably going to lose that
You're
one.
gonna. Wow, I think.
But we got.
I'm gonna win 2 bottles.
I think you're going to win. No, I don't think you're going to win that first one, brother.
You don't think? No,
I
think I'm gonna win 2, one from you and him on this bet.
No, I don't think so.
You think Natalie's gonna get voted?
No. I think.
I'm talking about on the mayor bet.
Oh, on the mayor bet.
You're talking the upzoning bet.
Yeah.
This man thinks upzoning is going to be approved and greenlit before December 31, 2023. That's what Keith thinks.
It's what my
I'm saying it's after that.
It's what my crystal ball is telling me, and it could be completely cracked and broken, which it has been lately anyway.
Oh, Bill McChesney was right. He also said part of our bet was no plastic bottles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't buy a plastic bottle of booze.
Yeah.
Good call, Bill McChesney.
Bill,
Mayor
thank you
McIntyre.
for clarifying that.
James
I didn't
Watson,
even know it comes in plastic. But
James Watson says all council members are great. I would definitely put my bets on Juan Diego Wade being the next member, the next mayor. He says all of them are qualified, though. James
for the
Watson
sake of the talk show, I will pick Natalie.
Okay.
I'll do it.
I'll take that. We're going to take that action.
We're
We're going to take that action.
It's more about stocking your bar back up rather than.
I think the bar is fair.
No, it's not. Somebody should take a picture of that.
Isn't the only empty bottle over there Keefe's rum?
No.
Hold on.
I'm sorry, people. We got off.
The Ragged Branch is 20% full.
So
the Scotch is nearing its end.
So back on Lake Monticello, for the people at Lake Monticello, do yourself a favor, pay attention to the Lake Monticello Facebook and pages on that. There is on the table a potential increase or request or a vote for increase of dues by $300 a year. So jumping from roughly $900 to $300, adding $300 to that starting 2024. So it'll go in front of, I think, in June or something like that for a vote. And that has about a snowball's chance in hell of passing. Because, HOA docs matter, right? Covers and restrictions matter. In order for an increase in dues at Lake Monticello, you have to have
a significant percentage approving.
That's exactly right. You've got to have a majority vote in favor of it to do it.
Questions coming in fast and furious. Tim Carson, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Brittany Gray, welcome to the program.
Brittany, thank you for the message that you did on Facebook. You're a rock star.
Todd Rath, welcome to the show. Tom Stargell, the Golden Apple Award winner. Cascadia's finest, Andre Xavier, thank you for watching the program. Queen of Keswick, Olivia Branch on the program. We love you, Olivia. Lonnie Murray, hello and welcome to the program. Tim Carson, good morning. All right, this is a good one for you. The Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors has got a website out, and I'm going to send it to you. I want to make sure I have the URL.
So they're in support of upzoning.
Upzoning in full capacity.
Yeah, so what is that surprising?
The website is Seville Housing for All, SevilleHousingForAll.com.
Well, as you know, I'm pro-housing, right? So this is not surprising to me. And I'll tell you what, I'm thankful they're taking a position. That's usually not been the case. So the fact that Carr now is out there actively taking a position, regardless of what that position is a huge win. That's a huge win. That into itself, that they were doing, because historically they didn't. Neil is out talking on his end, but he does not directly represent Carr, Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors. For Carr to do that, to take a position on something out there that publicly, good for them. It's about time. It's about freaking time they do that. This is what we do for
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You go to the website. I highlighted the URL of the website again. Who are the folks leading the charge behind this website?
Don't know, to be honest with you. Don't know. I've ever since I got off the board, I've been disconnected. I've just not been engaged too much in Carr, so I wouldn't know. This would be a great question for Woody. He's on the board.
Woody's watching the show.
On it, don't know.
Seville Housing for All.
It's probably they have a communication committee or team or whatever that has series of agents and board members on it. Don't know, but when I came off the board 2 years ago, I've kind of focused on doing my thing and getting good data out there and doing stuff. But I do. You can ask a couple more questions, but I do want to talk a little bit about the value of buyer's agents and some of the conversations I've been having.
Absolutely. We will talk that question, buyer's agents and values. I'm very curious if friend of the program Woody would share any insight.
Well, he's out in California. He's in San Diego right now teaching classes, so I know he's not gonna. If he's got it on,
he's watching.
Yeah, cool. Well, he's it is 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
out there. So he's probably getting ready for his first class.
Katie Pearl, welcome to the show. Kristen Smith, welcome to the show. Mr. DL, welcome to the show.
Katie, it was good to see you the other day at the KWA event. Thank you.
She's great people.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Great question.
You know what her nickname is on the program?
No, I do not.
KTP.
KTP.
We call her KTP. Big fan of KTP.
Yeah, so...
One of our top... KTP, I'm going to go ahead and get ballsy here and say a top 10 commenter and viewer and watcher of the show.
Her name comes up quite regularly.
KTP.
Yeah, and thank you for watching and sharing with us. So, any other quick questions to attack before
We can go ahead if you want to talk commissions.
Yeah, so I don't exactly want to talk commissions.
Okay.
What I want to talk
You don't like that word.
eggs, commissions,
Eggs.
turtles,
Turtles.
chickens. It's,
Why is, okay, go ahead. I'll stop.
Yeah, I mean, because it just kind of gets you into a little bit of a slippery slope.
What kind of slope is that?
Yeah, that one too. That's why the bar is light, maybe. Excuse me.
No problem.
Yeah, so
Like,
I had, I'm sorry? No, I'm good. I have more coffee.
Here to help.
Well, I've got a pocket full of my own little lozenges. So it's interesting. So I've been having conversations with buyers, trying to bring them on board, right? To come on here to talk about, the value of a buyer's agent and how, having a buyer's agent helped. And I'm going to tell a couple of conversations I've had, and we can pick it apart and take it from there. And I'll start off with one in particular. So, we're not going to talk about who, what, when, and where. Just is going to be a general conversation because I promised them I wouldn't use their names and so forth, the particular circumstances. But I spoke to a recent client that we just helped buy, happens to be a neurosurgeon, relocating from another part of the country to here. Wasn't starting his job until 2024. So this conversation, this relationship was a referral, right? So it started with a referral about a year and a half ago, moved from a referral to a basic relationship. We were communicating in phone calls and emails and trying to get basic information. Then it moved into a customer, right? So if you look at the state law, there's these terms that you can take a look at what a customer is and what a client is. And then once we started when he started to talk about or wanted to talk about specific locations and properties, we entered into a buyer-broker agreement and set up the buyer-broker agreement, how I get compensated, so forth and so on. So the value that we brought to the table was, I was telling this couple that's moving to this area, they wanted to wait and rent here for a couple of months and then buy in 2024. I said, look, in my opinion, you don't want to do that. I think now's the time to do it. They bought about 3 months ago, closed about 2 months ago on it. And in this conversation I had with them, they said, Keith, thank you for being insistent on doing it, because if I were to buy now, I would pay more for my house and my mortgage rate would have been higher. And exact words from him said, and the 2.5 chicken eggs that we paid you on that saved me between 8 to 12 chicken eggs on that. So my 2.5, what the value that we bring as buyer's agents to the table, having honest and open and direct conversation and guiding this client through it, ultimately saved them money, because if they would have waited to buy now,
They would have bought a more expensive environment.
substantially more expensive environment. Plus, they were lucky to get about 6.25. They would at least today pay 1 point more, which is about we're somewhere around 7.25, 7 1/3, somewhere like that on the 30-year. Then they had 20% down and so forth and so on. They didn't have enough cash, so that's the value we brought to the table. Second conversation I had is a current client, and we'll leave the builder out of this. A current client, first-time home buyer, married, about ready to have their first child in December. The builder, you ready for this? Put the wrong color siding on the house. I got a phone call about 2 weeks ago, in tears, wrong color siding on the house.
And what, refused to fix it?
First of all, I had to navigate the client that was upset and come up with a game plan. But because I was involved in this, and I have the skill that I have, and I happen to know that the people, the higher-ups in this particular firm on it, I got in the middle of it, renegotiated, got the siding changed, and $10,000 worth of closing costs. So the negotiating skill. Now, if I wasn't in the middle of that,
You got them an extra 10G, plus you fixed the problem.
Plus, I fixed the problem. If I wasn't involved in that as a buyer's agent, it's not me, but if you were in a buyer's agent involved with a certain skill level and professionalism, and this is why it's important with new construction in particular, because if you don't ask for representation, you don't get it. So now,
the eggs are baked in anyway.
the eggs are baked in
That's a good
anyway.
one to use the eggs, because I could use the verb baked.
Look at
Because
you.
you can bake the eggs.
Look at you, huh?
Thank
They're
you.
hard boiled.
I thought you would appreciate
They're
it.
hard
But
boiled.
some people bake the eggs.
Some people bake eggs, yeah,
Yeah.
they do. Baked eggs are excellent.
No, they are. They're
But
very-
just as two examples about the skill and the professionalism that you bring to the table, these are just phone calls I've had in the last, well, one has been working on for a while to go ahead and do that. You know, they've got their siding fixed, and this is hardy plank, so it's baked on enamel. All the siding had to be removed, replaced, plus for their inconvenience. And here's the other problem is she's due in December, and the house is ready to be done in December.
Okay.
And we're trying to navigate getting the house completed in time before the baby is born, or saying, you know what, we're going to defer the closing until January, let you have your baby, get settled in and move into the house. It's just a couple of quick examples about how having a trusted advisor and a professional represent you can help and could actually save you money. In one case, we saved the client money by being insistent, saying, look, you got to do this now, you got to do this now. And this is a neurosurgeon, right? And he thought he understood what he was doing. That's the second comment that he made. He said, I thought this was easy until I got in the middle of it. He's only bought a couple of houses in his life. Excuse me, this is his second house in his life on it. But anyway, I just thought I'd chat about that a little bit.
So you're talking about the val prop of the buyer's representative.
And that at the end of the day, that's what this whole mess is about, is that we as an industry did not do a good job of explaining what our value proposition is to the buyer, how we get compensated, and the percentage of eggs that we get compensated.
Dan Pettit giving you some props. He said you also know a lot of people, so that helped, Keith.
Well, I've also been doing it for 3.5 decades.
Yeah.
So I've got the skills. This is why I said the other day, I'm so excited about real estate right now. It's just, I'm like giddy about it, because this is when the pros show up, right? And if you're if you're just in the business, you're still a pro. Look, we're down some 60% in sales in 3 years or whatever since 2020 on that end of it. It's going to stay flat for the rest of this year if you're in the business. Probably the beginning of next year, you'll start seeing things tick up a little bit. I think you will. I think you will, because these two buyer clients I'm meeting with today were direct results of the interest rates dropping from whatever it was down to that. They're not ready to buy, but they're ready now to have the discussion about buying. That conversation wouldn't have happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. They would have been waiting. But now's the time to reach out and dig in and learn and work on your skills, work on the 100 things you bring to the table, or 20 things or 50 things or whatever it is that it is for you that you bring to the table as a pro. But I'm excited, man. I can't tell you how pumped I am about business.
Questions coming in. This is a good one. Where is Keith reading and hearing after his conference that rates are going to go in the first quarter of next year?
So I didn't say the first quarter rates are going to change in the first quarter. I said you're going to start seeing buyers and sellers picking up in the first quarter of the year, just based on the rates that just already moved down, right? So the rates have moved down from 8 or whatever to a little bit above 7. I don't think by the end of 2024 you're going to see anything with a 6 in it, right? You may see upper 6s, but the point is, the people that have been sitting on the fences are, and we've even talked about this, and I've got true life example of 2 buyers that have been sitting on the fence for months, right? Now we're seeing the interest rates go down. They say, look, we want to re-engage and start having a conversation about what does buying look like for me. Keep in mind, one's coming out of Northern Virginia, the Northeast, sold their home, got cash, renting month to month. The other is a young couple, another young couple about ready to have their first child. We want to move out of a cramped apartment into something that we own. And we're now starting to re-engage in that conversation because of the interest rates just dropping down a little bit. I don't think they're going to do anything until the first quarter of next year. But that conversation's starting now. And these conversations generally are months
Excuse me.
leading up to actually doing something.
JJ Bean, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. Sandra McDaniel, thank you for watching the program. We will highlight Georgia Gilmer, Travis Hackworth, and Danville watching the program. Joanne Mackey, ¿Qué pasa, chica? ¿Cómo estás? I hope you got a game of tennis or pickleball in your future. Joanne Mackey. Kristen Smith, thank you kindly for watching the show. Questions are coming in. This is a really good one.
I mean, just before you jump in,
Yeah.
I didn't look at it until just now. Today, going back 7 days, there's only 35 homes that came on the market. It's ridiculously low.
Meager.
It's meager. The question is will this interest rate dropping
I
or
don't think so.
sliding down?
Drive market engagement.
No, what it's going to drive is buyers starting to have the conversations.
Yeah, market engagement.
At the buyer's level.
Yeah, but I don't think it's dropped enough for that to happen.
It's not.
Because it's a you know.
It's not engaging.
It's not a significant drop here.
It's understandable, but
We're talking like a third of a point,
I understand that.
maybe.
But we talked about if it starts sliding in the right direction, engagement will pick up. You're not going to see the seller engagement pick
No.
up. So buyer engagement is going to pick up.
And the reason you're not going to
We
see
gotta
the
manage-
seller engagement pick up is because
The rate's not low enough.
there's still too massive of a delta
There's
between
too
what the
massive.
sellers have or
There's-
potential sellers
Yeah,
have.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen at 35, in 7 days. It's a low number. Open houses are 138.
And I think what we're really going to see for the next 45 days is we have Thanksgiving 6 days from now. The month of December is pretty much a wash because of the holidays, New Year's, the Jewish holiday. So I don't think people are going to consider putting their homes on the market, frankly,
So if
until
you're on
maybe
the-
the second week of January.
So you're going to start seeing. We'll continue to monitor this and talk about this, but you're going to start seeing the re-engagement at a very meager level, right? But you're going to start seeing it on the buyers going, okay, let's start re-engaging and talking about this process, right? Gone are the days. Well, I shouldn't say that. If interest rates go down to like 5, and it's going to be a long time before that.
I mean, that could be 2025?
Maybe even 6.
2026?
It's going to go around now. But I think as the interest rates drop down a little bit or stabilize, there will be this re-engagement from the buyers to the buyers' agents to say, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this process. Where are we at? I can tell you 2 weeks ago, I couldn't get anybody to sit down and talk to me about buying. Now I've got 2, right? It's going to be just a conversation. We're going to be talking about what's out there, what trends are that we see on that end of it. But inventory is going to be low, and it's going to be low. I predicted for 10 years, but I'll be substantially older than I am now, and may not be sitting in this seat 10 years from now.
Handful. Hey,
Hey,
come on. Questions coming in.
Hey, I
for
know
you.
a guy.
Questions coming in for you. This is a good one from Brian. For the homes that are trading, what down payment percentage are you seeing most often?
Oh, that's
a great question.
that's
Got
a-
another good question on active with a kickout for you.
Good, active with a kick out. So we'll take the
First, the down payment one.
the
That's a good one.
down payment on it. It's still nationally. You're taking a look at it. It's still hovering somewhere in the 3 to 15%. You're starting to see some 20% come into it now, and that's mainly directly to a reflection of the interest rate, right? So people are bringing a little bit more cash to the table. They maybe are saving it, but historically, if you take a look at it, and I don't have the data in front of me, I could probably pull it up real quickly. It's probably in the 5 to 15% range. So it's staying relatively low. It's a bit of a misnomer that you got to bring 20% to the table. The thing is, 9 people out of 10 buy based on what, Jerry?
Monthly payment.
Monthly payment. Look at you, huh? Look at you. Where's the star? You got a star.
Thank
yeah,
you.
have a star.
I've sat across from you for
Have a
so
star,
long.
have a
I
star.
truly enjoy doing the show and learning from you.
Oh, stop it.
So no, I should say. Well, he's Catholic. He doesn't take compliments well.
Well, you were raised Catholic,
I was raised Southern Baptist, but went to a Catholic school and grew up in a Jewish neighborhood.
so you're really screwed up.
I'm a religious mutt.
You're
I'm
really
legitimately
screwed up.
a religious
Really?
mutt.
Well, I grew up in an Irish.
So we should highlight this. His follow-up question is, so the misnomer is that all these deals are 20% is incorrect, right? Is what he says.
Yeah.
He says that's no longer the case. That is a misnomer.
But
then
that's-
he follows up about cash deals for you.
Yeah, that's been well. We can take a look at how many cash deals are done. I can actually do that pretty easily out of that. But it's a misnomer, and if there's any loan officers watching, those are the folks that could really do that. But I can count on one hand this year, probably less than one hand in this year, that I had a deal with a 20% down. It was usually 5, and it's weird. It went one way or the other, right? It went from like a few percentage, like 3 to 5 to 7% down, to 40% down. It's just these huge jumps, and the big 40% downs and stuff like that was only built into trying to drive the number down that they're paying per month. They're using their cash to drive the monthly payment down to match whatever the interest rates are going. So it's an interesting thing. But while your fingers are firing,
It's moving.
I'm going to go ahead and take a look at. I've got an actual.
Dan Pettit, as rental prices continue to go up, it does make sense to buy with the lowering of rates. And he makes a fantastic point. The rents are not going down. In
So
fact,
I'm going to say something that's going to get me into a little bit of trouble.
You?
Go figure, huh?
No.
Do you know what Yona bought me the other day? She bought me a spoon,
Oh, it's-
like a wooden spoon. And you want to know what it says on it?
it says every time you get in, say something, I'm going to smack you with it.
Oh yeah, but I like that stuff.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Judah got a chuckle out of that one right there.
It says SHI. You fill the last word in, Stera,
Okay.
on that end of it.
I would say that's applicable to both of us.
That is alcohol.
Absolutely.
Alcohol. I'm trying to find a
We're
data.
looking cash deals.
Yeah, so cash deal is going to require a little bit of work on Paragon, but I'll tell you what.
Paragon's a very clunky system for those that use it.
Yeah,
For those that don't know,
yeah. Here's the
it could be much
here's
more
the great thing about
seamless.
Paragon. It's pretty pliable, right? But you got to know how to use the pliers.
Yeah, it takes a while too. You just have to get in there and use it. Kevin Higgins, hello. Thank you for watching the program. Brent Lillard, hello. Welcome to the program. Lonnie Murray, ¿qué pasa,
Hey, Lonnie.
chico? Love when you watch the program. Bellamy Brown. What's up, Bellamy Brown? Good to see you on here. Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett. Jeremy Rowe, welcome to the program. Matthew Horn, hello. Curtis Shave.
So,
Roger Voisinay.
so pick the folks.
Cash deals.
I understand that, but I need an area, right?
Charlottesville and Albemarle County.
Okay. So let's.
Then we got the active with the kick out.
Okay. Well, active with a kick out. Well, I'm looking. Let's see how much you've learned over the years and describe what active with the kick out is why I'll pick out. I'm going to pick
Also
Albemarle.
called a release clause. I've heard active with a kick out called a release clause.
Okay.
Typically, something you see in contracts by the seller. The seller includes these in contracts. It gives the seller a window of opportunity to be able to keep the home on the market and accept backup offers. Say, Jerry, that was pretty damn good.
Jerry, that was pretty damn good.
Thank you.
Where'd you learn that from?
Well,
You've done enough. You've done enough of them yourself.
I've done a few.
Yeah. So active with a kick out.
Bought our current home in an active with a kick out.
Yeah, so an active with a kick out is pretty simple. We enter into a contract to buy a piece of property. It says in there that if somebody brings an offer equal to or then or better than that, you've got 72 hours, and usually that's the time frame, 72 hours to remove your contingency, right? So sometimes the contingency that's connected to an active...
Generally, it's a home sale.
It's sometimes a home sale.
Yeah.
It could be something else, but as a rule, not
Just
as a
a
rule.
home sale for the sake of conversation.
For the sake of conversation, home sale, which means Jerry needs to sell property A to buy property B. So back in the day when things were flying off the shelf, it really wasn't a big deal. Now that stuff's getting a little sticky.
Just seeing a little bit.
Well, this is why you need a trusted advisor on the buyer side to advise the buyer the risks in doing that. Because you can't put a second home on the
No. To advise a buyer who's making an offer on a home that is active with a kickout.
No, advising a buyer who wants to make an offer on a home and insert an active with the kickout. So
Yeah, that's what I said. We're saying the same thing.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
So-
Because you basically could find yourself under contract for 2 houses,
You never.
and you do not want that.
Well, and again, this is back to
You should put that in layman's terms for the viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
Like really simple terms here, because I think you and I are talking, because A, we have good chemistry, because we've been doing this for so long.
and I'm at
B,
and we're at a
this is a pretty high level here.
yeah. So as my father often tells me, Keith, you're cruising that.
Right. That's what's
cell phone.
happening here. Yeah.
So the as
Said
it,
it in 7th grade from the beginning.
oh.
I knew you were going to say that. I know you so well. You and I are connecting with the chemistry, and we're speaking at what does Pop say? At the 180?
No, we're cruising at 44,000
Right.
feet at Mach 12, and everybody else is trying to get off the ground.
I can tell with him doing like that.
Slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
But 7th grade's a bit of a stretch for me.
Come on.
3rd grade I can handle.
You got a PhD in deal making, my friend, and in street smarts. Start from the beginning. I'm supposed to keep you on the.
And you're doing a lousy job of it, I must admit.
sorry.
You really suck at your job.
Sorry.
Hold on a second. Let me make a note of that.
I'm sorry.
Talk to Jerry about.
I'm sorry.
Look, let's simplify it a bunch. You're a selling agent. I'm a buyer's agent. I'm representing Judah and we're going to want to put a contract on your house, but Judah's got to sell a house someplace else. So Judah is not comfortable with taking the risk of buying your home without selling this, or he can't do his home because he needs a net proceeds from that, which is generally the case.
What happens.
It's generally the case. So what it does is, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put a contract in on that, and I'm going to say that if you get another offer within 72 hours, I have to remove my contingency and proceed with closing. That's all it really means. The risk that I take as the buyer is I can't put a contract in on anything else because all of a sudden now I got a contract on 2 houses. You can't just terminate contract A because I found another house. Now there's ways around that, but we're not going to talk about that at the moment. We're not going to talk about that at the moment. There's get out of jail free cards that are always built into.
And we shouldn't talk about that.
We shouldn't talk about that. So in any event, that's what that means. On the seller side, the risk the seller takes.
This is the one we should talk about.
The risk
this is very real.
The risk the seller takes is it goes into a different place in the search, right? So it's in the active kickout with the search. So
And it's actually marked.
It's
like
actually
that.
it's marked
Yeah,
that way on it. So if you are not searching correctly,
Or even if you are searching correctly, it can deter interest.
Well, yeah. So the conversation I would have with you as the buyer and all that kind of great stuff. Sure, we can go ahead and do this.
The backup buyer.
But you need to correct the buyer number 2.
Buyer number 2.
You have to understand, Jerry, that we can submit an offer. We can go through the do it. Let's do it. Let's give it a shot. But all that might do is just trigger the 72-hour kickout closing. And we're back at looking at houses.
Because in that scenario, buyer A can then remove their contingency.
That's
Generally what happens.
Generally what happens.
Right.
Because
so
buyer.
that would discourage buyer B from
Yeah,
doing
so
something.
Judah just goes ahead and gets a second on his house, comes up with a deposit. There's all kinds of ways to navigate this. But I'm bringing this back to this decoupling conversation. This whole dialogue you and I are having right now is why you need trusted advisors at the table. Here's a thing that nobody's talking about this on it, and I brought it up in the Virginia Governor's Housing Conference when I was talking to the governor's team on that. I asked them a very specific question. I said, guys, are you going to start upscaling your fair housing enforcement? Because without having let's assume there's not a buyer's agent involved in the transaction, the seller has to be uber careful it doesn't cross fair housing. And Jerry, I had a phone call the other day, and I told this potential seller to go pound sand because they only wanted certain type of people to look at their house. And I said, good luck, we're done. Can I have your full name, please? It was a cold call, and sometimes we get tested, and that may be one of those.
You think that was a test?
I can't imagine somebody in today's world being so stupid as to say, I only want a certain, and I don't even want to repeat the words on it, but to have certain people. Actually had a freaking phone call on that. And then when I started pushing back, I need your full name, where's your address, where's your property, click. So it could have been, because I would have reported them in a heartbeat.
So you think it was
Freaking.
a test?
It could have been, who knows? Don't know.
You'll appreciate this comment.
I got worked up on that one.
Logan Wells Claylo, as you should. Logan Wells Claylo watching the program.
Hey, Logan.
You'll appreciate this. This is from Jonathan. Gentlemen, I love your show. I love how you take topics that are complicated and make them come across as entertaining and informative. Just wanted to give you props. Job well done.
Thank you very much. But, if I could keep it at a third grade level so Smith can understand it, then we're in good
Well, I mean, that's how we do a good job of that.
So Albemarle County, back on the cash question, Albemarle County, single-family detached, no new construction. From the beginning of this year to today, there were 723 sales. 226 of them were cash. 411 of them were conventional fixed. So those are, this 3 to 7%. I can't pull out how much were 10%, 20%, that kind of thing. But I can tell you 26 of them, 226 of 763, and if somebody was smart, we could probably figure out the percentage on that pretty quickly. I got a calculator, I can do that.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, thank you.
Brett Fish, welcome to the program. Thank you kindly for watching on LinkedIn. Judah Wickhauer, your wheels are turning over there, and we're very mindful of your time as we head to 11:30. Keith Smith.
Oh, shucks.
We need to let the viewers and listeners know we are in the saddle on Monday.
We're on the saddle on Monday.
Yeah.
And are you heading out Wednesday?
We are in the saddle on Wednesday.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah. We will be gone a week from Monday, though. A week from this coming Monday.
So you're going to be gone a week.
For that Monday. So Monday what day is that? That would be Monday the 27th.
So we're setting our schedules live?
No. I'm just letting the viewers and listeners
Yeah.
know.
So we're coming.
We are doing the show on Monday for those that are asking.
We're coming up on our Christmas break. And then we'll probably, by the end of that, have some announcements for December, because Yona and I are doing our annual trip away the first couple of weeks of December, and then Christmas falls on Monday this year, so we might have a limited number of shows in December, but we'll go ahead and do this. But I am working on some exciting stuff for January. We've got Lisa Steravent trying to schedule a day and time for her to physically come in, give a year-end wrap-up and a year production. So I'm really excited about that. We'll have Woody sit with us on that. And I'm still working on trying to bring in buyers. So any agents out there that are watching and listening, if you've got a buyer who's willing, ready, and able to come and sit with us, please reach out to me. I'd love to have them talk about their experiences and, did we, as buyer's agents, bring value to the table, and what did that look like, and what that process was like. So I want to start talking about that in a positive, kind of like a masterclass kind of scenario, but get the buyers themselves to share their experiences, because clearly we're not doing this as an industry, and we need to take the opportunity to kind of do that.
DP gives us a little ribbing, a second grade level.
No, thank you. I agree.
I like it.
I usually say I keep it at a third grade level, but that offends third graders. So
You did a hell of a job today.
yeah, I got
You're
a good
actually
time.
manicured, Keith Smith.
A couple days old. Couple days old. Loved the mustache. What he did with the mustache was good.
Fantastic. Keith Smith is a realtor.
That's right. Look at that. Huh?
He's a realtor.
I actually do this for a living.
And he would love to help you in the buying and selling process. His firm, Yes Realty Partners, Yona and Keith Smith,
Is growing, and we'll have some
and
announcements.
partners, is growing.
It
I was
is
just gonna say
growing. We'll
that.
have some announcements depending on how the December cycle shows set up on that coming here shortly.
So, Yes Realty Partners is growing. I would very much encourage you to reach out to them about the buying and selling of real estate. They are fantastic. Judah Wickhauer is fantastic, the director and producer of this fine and fair talk show. Keith's show is archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, where he has...
Oh, my trusted partners.
There we go.
Trusted partners, please pull it down. If you like seriously, folks, if you like what you're hearing and you're seeing, or even if you don't like it and you want to keep it going, just to
The trusted partners are vetted by Keith.
but more importantly, without them, we wouldn't be having this conversation and doing this. So please support them. They're wonderful folks, and so we can keep operating at a second grade level.
Real Talk with Keith Smith at a second grade level.
So what did we bet?
You bet.
I took Natalie.
Alston,
I took
yeah.
Natalie. Got it.
For Judah and Keith, I'm Jerry, and the I Love Siebel show is up in 59 minutes. So long.
Oh, we're over. Thank you.